All right, good, good. Welcome in, everybody. It is August 6th, 2026. It is currently 11:30 in the morning. A little bit of a later start to the study sessions today. Had some other stuff come up this morning. But anyway, no time like the present to practice, correct? Or to study, right? So what is the purpose of this stream? Well, as the card indicates, this is a study stream, which means that you're going to see a fella suffer and try and get better at a couple different skills. And the question is, what are those skills? The skills that I am engaging in are the study of shorthand. So currently it is the study of shorthand, and it is also the study of note-taking, okay? So why engage with those two areas of study? Why engage with those two areas? Just pull up my monitors here so I can keep track if anyone's in here. There we go. Turn my volume down. Boom, boom. All right. So what's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of this stream? Well, the purpose of this stream, as I said, is to show the process of gaining skills. In more recent time, I'm taking more of a direction in the academic world, and so going back to university, I'm going to be getting my bachelor's in mathematics and so on and so forth. And so a part of that process is building some sort of framework or some sort of tooling that is going to help me in the area of knowledge work. And knowledge work doesn't matter your discipline in mathematics, or whether it's mathematics or whether it's history or any of the skills, you are going to be engaged in the world of ideas, And the world of ideas has a particular set of skills associated with it, or it has a particular set of tools associated with it. And what are those tools? Well, there are many, but they can be boiled down to three basic tools. Those three basic tools are knowledge acquisition. This is capture. It's also the ability to categorize the information, and then finally the ability to reproduce or recall the information when needed. Those three skills: acquisition, categorization, and recall. Acquisition, categorization, and recall. Also, you could say collecting, ordering, and retelling. There are a number of different words you could use to describe it. Now, there are different ways that you can go about these three skills, but all of your training, if you will, should be geared towards becoming better at these three skills, becoming proficient at them. Okay? And that's what's going to enable you to actually bring things of value to people. And that's your job as an academic, is to bring ideas of value. You're like a miner going down into the ground, and you gather all these precious jewels and this fine gold ore, and then you bring it back to people, and they do things with it. They're able to transform the world, make it better. But you are the one who has to go out, capture the ideas, and bring them back. Okay? So that is your job as an academic, and that's my job as someone who's engaged in the world of ideas. So therefore, one should become better at these, right? And the skills that I'm developing are, for the acquisition part, or for the capturing part, I'm currently engaged in the use of shorthand. Now, shorthand is essentially, it is a writing method in which you are able to really reduce the amount of effort that you have to put out in order to capture the same level of information. Less effort, same level of information. Okay, not everyone should study it. I advocate that only you go into it and you follow the process with a grain of salt. You don't be playing around with shorthand thinking that it's going to really make your life better. It's not. It takes a lot of time. It's rather challenging, But if you want to consider using it, I think that it has some value and some merit. Okay? And the book that I'm going through is How to Take Smart Notes by Sonke Ahrens. This is the book for teaching you how to categorize information, and it's the idea that any information that's worth having, you should be able to put it into your own words in 1 to 2 sentences or less, and then create some sort of schema or framework by which you can then access that information in the future. It's called a lattice work or a network of ideas. And so when you are then getting ready to present your ideas, to recall your information for people, then you are able to go back into this collection, this categorized collection of information, withdraw what you need, present it as you will. All right, so that's enough of an introduction. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. I usually do a stream, about a 3-hour study stream. So we're currently sitting at 2 hours and 51 minutes right now on my clock over here, by the way. And so let's just go ahead and get going. If you're interested in any of the links, they are down below in the description. So let's go ahead and go. I'm currently on page 124, and I'm going to see if it's possible to get at least 4 pages done today. I've been sitting around 3, but I'm going to shoot for a little bit more speed today. Feeling good, so let's go ahead and see if it's possible to get some more speed going. Like I said, I'm on page 124, and he's just been talking about one of the errors that you run into called survivorship bias. Survivorship bias, okay? So let's go ahead and get going. Product developers, so we just had relevant. Product developers make the same mistake. So we have product, and then developers. Developers make the same mistake. Make the same mistake. Need to confirm mistake. So I have a couple. This website over here, the link's in the description for the website as well. You're able to search for words to see what the correct form is. So mistake is the word, and it's MST. MST, the same mistake, okay? On such a regular basis. On such. Let me check the direction for such. That looks like research. Such, nope, that's correct. On such a and regular, so let's go ahead and do regular basis. Basis, comma, one has to wonder if they do it on purpose. One has to wonder, and wonder is, I think it's, let's see if it's that. Wonder. Nope, it's just the N, no need for the D. So let's go ahead and move this down here and go ahead and put this over here. So this is wonder. One has to wonder if they do it on purpose. If they do it on purpose. And I think that's just PP for purpose, but let's go ahead and check it. Purpose. So this time around, I'm just going to see how quickly I can speed through. I'm seeing if I can just get as many of the strokes down on paper as possible. There are a few different approaches you can take, like you could try to recall, but for right now, I'm just going to get as much as I can on purpose. As marketing expert Robert McMath, so as marketing expert Robert McMath, and Robert is going to be Robert. There we go. Bert. McMath, so we're going to go Mick for the MK for Mick, and then math below it. 2 names, it's a surname. Assembled the biggest ever collection. The biggest ever collection assembled. ASMD, assembled the, let me make sure that that's assembled, doesn't have to have the, correct, it does not have to have the B below it. Let's go ahead and do this here, assembled the biggest, and here we go, biggest ever, that's hyphenated, the biggest ever collection, and collection, I believe. Let's go ahead and check that out. Collection. Oh, we'd have to have, it's an L, not an R, so let's go ahead and go collection of supermarket goods of, and then super is the SB above, right? Supermarket goods. Let me go ahead and check which direction super is supposed to go. Super. Oh, it curves the other way. Curves the other way. If it's in, it's self or circ. So this is super. Which reminds me, I need to go ahead and make a note of that. On the page, I need to make a note of super and add it to the dictionary as a prefix, a searchable prefix. Okay, so there's super. Add goods as assembled the biggest ever collection of supermarket products and product. We had just had that. Products. Comma, he realized midway. He realized midway, it was becoming almost exclusively, almost exclusively, almost exclusively, and exclusively, let's see what exclusively is. Exclusive. Yeah, that's the one. There's one of them. This one was getting me all the time the other day. Exclusive. Exclusively. There we go. Exclusively. A collection of failed products. A collection of failed products. Failed products. What a shame. Failed products. Okay. Because they make up the vast majority. Because they make up the vast majority, and majority is just mage, and then I think it's just a disjointed R below that. If we look up majority, come on. It does require the A, the vast majority. There's majority. Of all products ever produced. Of all products ever produced. And produced is produced. Like that. Produced. I need to also check products, make sure that that is correct. Product. Yes, good. So that's product. And produced, same thing. So if I look up produced. Yes, produce. Ever produced. Period. Yes, period. He thought a museum would be a great place. So he thought that, and then museum. I don't know if I've ever done museum before. Museum. Let's see if it's anything like that. Museum. Oh, there we go. So what we do is we go museum. So it's not mu, it's mu. We go museum. He thought a museum would be a great place. Would be a great place for what? For product developers, developers to see what already proved not to work. To see what proved already not to work. Proved already not to work. Good. So they didn't have to repeat the same mistake. So they didn't, and did not is a long stroke, so we have to go this one here. Did not have to repeat, and repeat is this one. Yes. Repeat and repeat. Did not have to repeat the same mistake. The same mistake. Period. Alas, rarely does a product developer. And that's alas. So that's A-L-A-S, comma. Rarely, and rarely is rare-e, right? Rarely? Let's take a look and see. Rarely. Yes. Rarely does a product developer, rarely does a product developer show any interest in learning from the experience of others. Interest in learning from the experience of others. Period. Often, companies don't even keep track. Often, companies do not, and so don't, we can do a swope over like that. Don't even keep track. Don't even keep track. Track. Swoop down. Yuck. Track of what? They don't even keep track of their own failed attempts. They don't even keep track of their own failed attempts. Attempts. Sort of like my education. Their own failed attempts. Providing McMath with whole series. Here we go. Providing, comma, attempts. Providing McMath with what? With whole series. With whole series and series. I think that's series right there. If you go, because seriously just takes the S, but let's go check series. S-E-R-I-E-S. There we go. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So there's series. Whole series. In which one kind of mistake was made in multiple variations. In multiple variations. Sometimes from each generation, multiple variations, comma, sometimes from each generation, there we go, generation of developers in the same company. Oh, shocking. In the same company. In the same company. Company. There we go. I need to check generation. Ladorvador. Generation. Oh, you do have to include the ration. Ration. So we go generation. There we go. Generation of developers in the same company. Oh my. And that one was McMath and Forbes 1999. So we go McMath and Forbes. So we go let's see here. The name Forbes. There we go. Forbes 1999. Put 1999 down here. 999. That's a German who really doesn't want you to do what he's supposed to be. Really doesn't want you to do something. 999. In his beautifully titled. Okay, hold on. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So that was the end of that paragraph. Now we go back up here and reread the section that we just covered. And product developers is what we're looking for, which was on the previous page, right? Or no, did I just forget to drop a... I just forgot to drop a new line. Product developers is what we're looking for. Product developers make the same mistake on such a regular basis. So where are you, my friends? Less relevant. Oh no, it was up here. Okay, here we go. And let's go ahead and grab our highlighter. And let's go ahead and begin. But first, a sip of water. Okay, so here we go. And launching in. Gentlemen, start your engines. Product developers make the same mistake on such a regular basis, one has to wonder if they do it on purpose. As marketing expert Robert McMath assembled the biggest ever collection of supermarket goods of supermarket products. Wonder where I did goods. Supermarket products. He realized midway through? No. He realized midway it was becoming almost exclusively a collection of failed products because they make up the vast majority of all products ever produced. He thought that a museum would be a great place for product developers to see what proved. Is that proved? Let me check. Prove. Yes. And then proved requires the D to be attached to the V. So we'll go ahead and fix that here. Proved. Grab this here. Proved. Already be a great place. Already proved not to work. So they didn't have to repeat the same mistake. Alas, rarely does a product developer show any interest in learning from the from the experience of others. And experience, that S needs to be just a little bit smaller. Experience. S-P-E for experience. There we go. From the experience of others. There we go. Of others. Often companies don't even keep track of what of their... Nope. Stop it. Stop it. Come on. There we go. Don't even keep track of their own failed attempts, providing McMath with a whole series in which one kind of mistake in multiple variations. What's that? Sometimes? Sometimes, yeah, if that's sometimes, then we need to go sometimes from, there we go, sometimes from each generation of developers in the same company. And that was McMath and Forbes, 1999. Moving on. In his beautifully titled book, in his beautifully, and beautifully is beautif maybe? I don't know. Let's check. I don't know what beautiful is. What's beautiful? There's beautiful. All right, so that goes BT, and then it looks like E. Almost looks like an E with the F attached below. So somewhat similar, but we don't need to have that E in the center. So this is beautiful. There we go. In his beautifully, and we just add an E to that. Titled book, and title is T-I-T, tight, and then you just do a D attached to it. That's fiddle. We need title. Title. Yes, that is title. And so titled would simply be a disjointed D attached to that. So we go, unless we go tighted, maybe that would work, because there's no other word where we really have to have that. So if we do a long stroke, then it's titled. So we go titled, like so. Quote. And then antidote. So antidote is going to be I'm just going to look it up. Antidote. Because anta might be a brief form. It is, yes. Anta and then dote. We actually had this a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. So we have antidote, happiness. So we go happiness for people who can't stand positive thinking. Happiness for people who can't stand positive, and positive is P-O-S, and then V underneath, I believe. If we go V, positive. Nope, it goes P-O, and then it uses the TV format. So we go positive, yep, who can't stand positive thinking, close quote. Oliver Berkman. So this is Oliver Berkman, B-R-K-Men, like so. Berkman describes how much of our culture, and it's going to have to go down here, describes how much of our culture, and culture, let's go ahead and check and see. Hello. Culture. Not sure if you're still here or not. Trevor, but sorry, I wasn't keeping track of the comments. Um, let's see. Of our culture. Culture is, what is culture? K-O-L? Culture? I would think that it's K and then a long stroke? Let's go ahead and take a look. Here we go. Culture. There we go. So we go K, K, L, T, R. K-L-T-R. For culture. Like cultured cheese. Brought to you by a blind cyclops. Okay, here we go. How to take smart notes. Page, this is section 12 point, what is this, 12.6 through 7, and we're going, this is currently page number 7. So this is page number 7. Yay! Now we go back up here, and we go ahead and get started. So culture, we do K, K, L, and then T, R, K, L, T, R. Can I get a K? Can I get an L? K, L, T, R. There we go. How much of our culture is focused? Is focused on what? Is focused on success, and success is success, I believe, and how we neglect the important lessons from failure. Yes, there's success. No need for an S on the end, it's already implied. So, there's success. And how we neglect the important lessons, and how we neglect. Neglect is going to be, what is neglect? Neg. Is it just neg? N-E-G? Neglect? Let's go ahead and check neglect. Yes, there's neglect. And how we neglect the important lessons from failure. Neglect the important lessons from, ooh, that's not lessons. Does it curve back around? Let's check lessons. L-E-S-S-O-N. No, hey. Oh, I'm not so bad. Okay, here we go. Lessons from failure. Lessons from failure. Could be the story of my life. Okay, that's the title of my book. Lessons from failure. Lessons from failure. Let's go ahead and check failure and see if that is correct. Woo! Yep, there we go. Lessons from failure. Berkman 2013. Berkman. So let's drop this here. We're going to go Berkman 2013. 2013, drop parenthesis, and close the sentence. Manager biographies. So we go manager. I think that has to be a disjointed R. If we go manager, like so. Manager. So let's check manager. Nope. I take it back. It is just the R turned back in on itself. So we go manager. And is it managers? Nope, just manager biographies. And biography is biographies, like so. If we look up biographies. Oh, no, I take it back. It's an O-E. I would think that it would be oh no, that's gram, isn't it? There we go. Biographies, O-E's, are a good example. Are a good example of what's? No, just colon. A good example. Even though all of them contain some anecdotes, even though all of them contain some anecdotes. Now, anecdote is different from antidotes in that we need anecdotes. Anecdotes. And this might still be the same ending. If we look up anecdotes, oh, and that's not a word. Well, in that case, we're going to add it. Anecdotes. So let's go ahead and add that to the dictionary. Anecdotes. And that has been added to the page, so we'll add that later. We're going to go anecdotes. Anecdotes, like so. Oh, come on now. Oh, there we go. Anecdotes. About setbacks. About setbacks. And that's setbacks. Good. These are always, even though all of them contain some anecdotes about setbacks, comma, these are always embedded in a bigger story about success. These are always embedded and embedded in a greater story, in a bigger story, in a bigger story of success. Failed managers, unfortunately, rarely write biographies. Oh, that is so cute. Failed managers, unfortunately. So we're going to go failed managers, unfortunately. And then eightly, isn't that just like that? Unfortunately. Let's go check unfortunate. Unfortunate. Yes, that is correct. We just have to curve it a little bit to get the in. It's an in stroke, and there's no U at the beginning, so we go unfortunately. Unfortunately. Rarely write biographies. They rarely write biographies. And that's the end of that parenthetical. If we try to extract a lesson, and that's extract a lesson, from what is this? From all these books, comma, we might end up believing. Come on, end up and believing, comma, no, believing that persistence and charisma, believing that persistence, I don't know what persistence is, so I'm going to go ahead and check on that. Grab the whole file, and there's persistence. There we go. Persistence. P-R-S-N-S. Persistence. That persistence and charisma, that's charisma. That does not look correct, but let's go ahead and check. So charisma. charisma is not one of the words, so we're going to have to add it to the dictionary. Let's go ahead and check here for isma. There are no versions of isma, so we're going to have to add that to the lineup. And we'll use what we can. Let's see, charisma. Yes, so what we probably can do is we will take let's see, Cosma, like that. Okay? Cosma. And that should be clear enough from the context. That's almost Cosma, though, so we need to make it just a little smaller. Cosma. Okay? Cosma are paramount to success. So I need to add charisma to the listings. CHARISMA. So there's charisma. Are paramount, and paramount is an example of a prefix. So we can go paramount. Need to put that on another line down below, though. So we'll put it here. Paramount to success. Comma, even though these are exactly the same ingredients. Yeah, this is funny. Even though these are exactly, next line down. Oh, yeah, I guess we could put it here. Exactly the same ingredients. So charisma and persistence. These are the exactly the same ingredients needed to screw a project up big time. And ingredients is ingredients. Oh, grab the Oh, come on now. I don't want to save. There we go. Ingredient. There's ingredients. Ingredients. Ingredients needed to screw a project up big time. Needed. So needed to screw a project up big time. To screw a project up big time. I need to check, see if screw is on the is one of the words. Yep, not quite. Here we go. There we go. Screw. Good. And that's it. Berkman is referring to Jerker Denrel here. There we go. Berkman is referring to Jerker Denrel here. Is referring to and then Jerker. So that's going to be Jerker, right? We go Jerker Denrel. Never heard of that before. Denrel. So come on now. Denrel. Here. What was Jerker Denrel? Let's go look that up. Jerker Denrel. Go ahead and grab that. Oh, I'm going to pull up another... Oh, not another page. Undo. Oh, I just closed down Zernal. Hopefully I saved the other one. Is referring to Jerker Denrel here. Yes, good. I had saved it. Now I need to look up what is Jerker Denrel. Let's see what Jerker Denrel was. So over on Firefox, pull up another page. Who was he? He was a professor of strategy and decision making at University of Oxford. Huh. Interesting. He's referring to... Oh, okay. It looks like... Okay, so Berkman is referring to work done by Jerker Denrell. And Jerker Denrell is a professor of behavioral science. Okay. So, now that we've got that squared away, let's go ahead and continue. Obviously, the same is true in research. So we're going to go obviously, oh, and yeah, we're almost there. So we'll move this down, period. Obviously, the same is true in research. Obviously, the same is true in research. Colon. It is very good to know. It is very good to know what has already proven not to work. It is very good to know what has already proven not to work. I need to add another page below this. This is going to be page number 8. So we're going to go how to take smart notes. 12.6 through 7, page number 8. Zoom back up. We'll continue. To know what has already proven not to work. What has already proven not to work. If we try to come up with new ideas that do work. If we try to come up with ideas that do work. Period. And that's the end of that paragraph. So now we jump back to the previous section. We're looking for our paragraph marker. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, I just kept on. No wonder I came to the base of page 7 so quickly. This whole unit needs to be shifted over to the other column. Zoom out. Boom. There we go. Grab our page. Ow, come on. Grab our page there. Cut. And go back up here. And we're going to paste over here. Move over. Boom. There we go. Close enough. All right. Let's go ahead and move in. That is... where's our paragraph marker? In his beautifully, and that's in he, so we need to go in his, and that's an S marker right here. So let's go ahead and change this to S right there. Boom. Here we go. Highlighter, go ahead and save the file. And we keep on going, so we go highlighter, and we go. In his beautifully titled book, their book should be there, the antidote, happiness for people who can't stand positive thinking. Oliver Berkman describes how much of our culture is focused on success, and how we neglect, and the neglect is up here. There's neglect. Move this down. This is neglect. Oh, come on. Don't move on me. There we go. And how we neglect the important lessons from failure. And that was Berkman 2013. Manager biographies are a good example. Even though of all of them contain some anecdotes about what? About setbacks. These are always embedded in a bigger story of success. And then we have failed managers. What is this? Failed managers, unfortunately, rarely write biographies. End of parenthesis. If we try to extract a lesson from all these books, we might end up being believing. Let me check, because belief is just be, and let's see what if belief changes it at all. Nope, believe is the same thing as well. Nice. We might end up believing that persistence and charisma are paramount to success, even though these are exactly the same ingredients needed to screw a project up big time. And here Berkman is referring to Jerker Denrell here. Obviously, the same is true in research. It is very good to know what has already proven not to work if we try to come up with ideas that do work. All right. Next paragraph. Move down on the line. Drop another paragraph marker. Boom. Highlight it. And we continue. One possibility is to deal with this tendency. So we go one possibility. And let's see, possibility. Let's see if that, I need to just double check that. Possibility. Yep, that's correct. Third one over. One possibility is to deal with this tendency is to deal with this tendency is to ask, one possibility to deal with this tendency is to ask counterfactual questions. And let's move over, column here, ask is this one. Ask counterfactual questions, comma, like, what if? What if, close quote, Markman, Lindbergh, Cray, and Galinsky, page 2, or year 2007. So that's the reference here. So this is going to be Markman, comma, Lindbergh, Lindbergh, there we go, Cray and Galinsky, Cray, K-R-A, and Galinsky, Galinsky, 2007. 2007. Good. Period. It is easier to learn about the function of money. So here we go. It is easier. It is easier to learn about the theory, about the function of money in society, in society, if we wonder how strangers would exchange goods. How strangers, S-T-R, what is stranger? Is it just S-T-R-A-N and then curves back around for stranger? Let's check it out. S-T-R-A-N-G-E-R. Oh, it's just S-T. S-T-J and then E. So we go S-T-J-E, strangers, and to make it plural, we just change the circle into a loop. So that's strangers. How strangers would exchange goods. How strangers would, and then exchange, that's exchange, I believe. Let's go ahead and check and see. Exchange. Oh no, it just curves on the top. So we have to, that'd be extra change. So we go exchange goods without using money. Goods without using money. Then if we just focus, on the obvious problems, we have in society, we have in society based on money exchange. Based on money exchange. So we're saying, you've got this problem, right? You have this problem by which, you need to exchange goods. So what are you going to do if you don't have money? It's a what if question. So exchange, okay? If we wonder how strangers would exchange goods without money than if we focus on money exchange, period. Sometimes it is more important to rediscover the problems. Sometimes, it is more important. It is more important to rediscover. This is going to be rediscover. Maybe. Let's go check and see if that's rediscover. Let's see. Discover, I know, is this. So rediscover is just going to be joined E to the front. Read. So if we go rediscover, I think it's rediscover. Rediscover. Okay? So let's go ahead and add that to the dictionary for later use. Rediscover. All right. Sometimes it is more important to rediscover the problems based on money, the problems for which we already have a solution, the problems for which we already have a solution, than to think solely, than to think solely about the problems that are present to us and present to us. There we go. Let's check present. That's it. So we just need to drop the S and we have our character. There we go. Present. That are present to us. And now we'll go ahead and check that. That was the end of the paragraph, so we're going to go ahead and read through. Let me go ahead and drop a paragraph marker and mark it here. There we go. Jump back up in the listings to our previous marker, which is over here. There we go. And we begin. So, one possibility is to deal with this tendency, or to deal with this tendency, what did I do? Not is. One possibility to deal, so we don't need is, we just need to deal with this tendency. Grab our highlighter again. Is to ask counterfactual questions like, what if? And that one was according to Markman, Lindbergh, Cray, and Galinsky, 2007. It is easier to learn about the function of money in society if we wonder how strangers would exchange goods without what? Without using money. Then, without using money, then, let's make this just a little shorter. There we go. Money, then, if we just focused on the obvious problems we have in society based on money exchange. Sometimes it is more important to rediscover the problems of the problems for which we already have a solution than to think solely about the problems that are present to us. There we go. Moving on, next paragraph. Scroll down the line. Problems rarely get solved directly anyway. Problems rarely ever get solved. Move this up here. Solved. Rarely get solved directly. Rarely get solved. Rarely get solved directly. Get solved. Oh, come on now. There we go. Solved. Directly. Anyway, comma. Anyway, period. Most often, the crucial step forward. Most often, the crucial step forward is to redefine. Forward is to redefine. So this is going to be it's going to be is it def? What is, oh no, define uses a def, doesn't it? It's so it would be redefine, like so. Let's go ahead and check and see if that is correct. So redefine is not there, but if we go to define, yes, that is define. So we simply have to add the RE to the beginning of that. So let's go ahead and erase it, and we go redefine. Come on, redefine, like so. Let's go ahead and add that to the dictionary. Okay, there's redefine. Most often, the crucial step forward is to redefine the problem in such a way, that an already existing solution solution is can be employed. Can be employed. So employed. Let's go ahead and see if that is correct for employ. Ploy. Yes, that is employ. Good. Another little sip of water. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fix this up here. Change this and move this here. So this is employed. Good. Period. The first question should always be directed. So we go, the first question should always be directed. Wait, no, that should be disjointed. Should always be directed towards the question itself. Towards the question itself. Towards the question itself. Colon. What kind of answer can you expect? What kind of answer can you expect from asking a question in this particular way? From asking a question in this particular way. What is missing? What is missing? Question mark. And that's the end of that paragraph. So we're going to go ahead and drop a paragraph marker here. Go ahead and highlight it. And we jump back and we reread that section right there. So we go problems already. Yeah, problems rarely get solved directly. Anyway, most should be a little bit more because it's an actual U hook. It's not an S. Most often, the crucial step forward is to redefine the problem in such a way that an already existing solution can be employed. The first question should always be directed towards the question itself. What kind of answer can you expect from asking a question This should be asking, so we'll put a dot there. From asking a question in this particular way. What is missing? And here's our new paragraph right here. Another seemingly banal tip. So another seemingly banal tip, and that's other seemingly banal tip is relates to a distinguishing feature, and relates, so this is relates to, relates, is that relate? Yes, relates to a what? To a distinguishing feature of extraordinary thinkers. Relates to a distinguishing feature. So feature. Whoopsie. There we go. Of extraordinary thinkers. And that would be extra what is ordinary? Is it ordin? Like that? For extraordinary? Extraordinary. And that is correct. Good, good, good. Very nice. So let's go ahead and straighten this up just a little bit. So we have extraordinary thinkers. And we go thinkers, like so. Colon. Take simple ideas seriously, or taking simple ideas seriously. Taking simple ideas seriously. Period. Consider, for example, and consider is, I think that one is cons, right? It's just if you do KS, then that's consider. Consider. Nope, you do, well, it is, but you do have to curve the S around on the back side. So we go cons, because that's probably an O hook. There we go. Consider, comma, for example, comma, the idea of buying stocks low and selling them high. The idea of buying stocks low and selling them high. That's highly. So high, I think, is this, right? Let me check buying. Yep, that's buy. Okay. So scroll down the page here a little bit. We're going to go buying stocks low and selling them high. I am sure everybody can grasp that idea. I am sure that everyone can grasp that idea. I'm sure that everyone can grasp that idea, period. But grasping an idea, is not the same as understanding it. Is not the same as understanding it. is not the same as understanding it, period. If you go and buy stocks on that, quote, insight, if you go and buy stocks on that insight, buy stocks on, oh wait, and isn't stock a little different? I'm trying to remember. Yes, it's just STO. Stocks, and then you just put the S added to it. So stocks on that, quote, insight, unquote. All you can do is to hope. All you can do is to hope. And hope is H-O-P, right? Let's go ahead and see if that's correct. Yep, is to hope. Is to hope that a stock goes up after you buy it. That a stock goes up when you buy it. Okay? Comma, which makes this knowledge about as useful, which makes this knowledge about as useful as as the tip on the next color to choose. As the tip on the next color to use or to choose. Color isn't color just coal? I think colors. Yeah. On the next color. Oh, it curves the other way. I take it back. It's cooler. So we add this right here and there. There we go. So on the next cooler, to choose on a roulette table. To choose on, and then roulette. Let's see what roulette is. R-U-L-L-E-T-T. There we go. There's roulette. On roulette table. Period. Go ahead and check that. Yep, that's table. Good. So now let's go ahead and go back up and reread that segment. So we're looking, there's our paragraph marker. Boom, grab it. We save the page. Go ahead and close there and there. All right. So this is where we're going to start. Another seemingly banal tip relates to a distinguishing feature of extraordinary thinkers, taking simple ideas seriously. Consider, for example, the idea of buying stocks and stock. I need to change that. Buying stocks low and selling them high. I am sure that everyone can grasp that idea, but grasping an idea is not the same as understanding it. If you go and buy stocks on that quote insight, all you can do is to hope that a stock goes up goes up when you buy it, which makes this knowledge about as useful as the tip on the next color to choose on a roulette table. One thing I want to check is when. When is just in, isn't it? I know I've used it so often, and yeah, it's just one of those that every once in a while the brain just goes poop, and it's like, am I actually thinking about the correct idea? So, all right, so there's that much, and we just continue now. The next level of understanding is reached. This is our next paragraph. So we move down the line and we start. The next level of understanding. The next level of let's clean that up a little. Level of understanding is reached when you realize is reached when you realize what you buy if you buy a stock. What you buy if you buy a stock. If you buy a stock, a part of a company. A part of a company, period. Nobody would sign a contract for a house. Nobody, a part of a company. Is that buddy? No, nobody? No, it goes bow at the bottom. So it's an O hook. So we go nobody. Okay. Nobody would sign a contract for a house. Nobody would sign a contract. Is that contract? Let's see. Yeah, so it's double C, okay? Double C here and here. Nobody would sign a contract for a house, and believe he now owns the contract. And believe he now owns the contract. Period. But many people treat a stock exactly like this. But many people treat a stock exactly like this. Period. They don't really think about what they get. They don't really think about what they get for the price they pay. For the price they pay. Period. They just assume they made a good deal. They just assume, and this is assume, right? See if that's correct. Goes over the top. Goes over the top. Assume. So it's the same as assemble. Assemble and assume are the same. Assume, they just assume they made a good deal. They made a good deal when the price is lower than the day before. When the price is lower, and we go low. This might be lower. Let's check it out. Lower. Yes, well, it actually just curves underneath, so no need for a specialized O hook. Lower than the day before. So now let's go back through and reread that section. Where is our previous paragraph marker? Hopefully I dropped one right. The next level. Looking. Oh, that's contract. So we're close. And the next level. That's another. Did I drop the paragraph marker? I'm looking. There we go. The next level. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and drop a paragraph marker here and highlight it. All right, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, so back at it. So let's go ahead and read through this section here. Grab the highlighter and we begin. The next level of understanding is reached when, hold on, let me go ahead and pull up there we go. Is reached when you realize what you buy if you buy a stock, a part of a company. Nobody would sign a contract for a house and believe he now owns the contract. But many people treat stock exactly like this, with they do not really think about what they get for the price they pay. They just assume they made a good deal when the price is lower than the day before. But the only thing Warren Buffett thinks about, here we go, but the only thing that, here we go, that Warren, so U-O-N, right? Warren Buffett, and we go B, and then B curves down, Buffett thinks about but the only thing Warren Buffett thinks about it is the relationship, this is I think it's this one, it has to be real. No, this one is real ship, right? Is that real ship? No. Relation. Yeah, okay, so it's the full thing. Relationship is the relationship between price and value. Between price and value, like so. Go check value. Oh yeah, this one is just VL. Price and value. Period. He doesn't even look at the price from yesterday. He doesn't even look at the price from yesterday. From yesterday. What is yesterday? Esther and then T. EST. EST is yesterday. From yesterday. Period. And this is our next. He understands that simple is not the same as easy. He understands that simple is not the same as easy, comma, and that the worst thing you can do, and that the worst thing. Worst is OOS, right? I think that's worst. Let's check it. Nope. Nope, it goes OOS and then the T for worst. That is worse right there, I think. That the worst thing, let's see here, that the worst thing you can do is to make a simple task, is to make a simple task. There we go. A simple task unnecessarily complicated. This is unnecessarily complicated. Unnecessarily complicated. Unnecessarily. That's a U-N-E-S, and then I think it's just an E added. Necessary is one of those beautiful little words where it's just, they pack so much into just 3 strokes. S and unnecessarily, yeah, oh, beautiful. Unnecessarily, oh, interesting. Hold on. Unnecessarily, yeah, so we just have to, wait, did I just make a mistake? I just did a boo-boo. I did. Because I added that other stroke. I added unnecessarily. And that's wrong. Because necessarily is just an E. So if you want unnecessarily, you add the U in E-S-E. Duh. Okay. I'm going to update that. Unnecessarily. Add that to the listings. And now we go in and we change it up here. So we're going to move down the page a little and change it here. So this is unnecessarily. So on like that. Okay? And what do we do here? Unnecessarily complicated. Now complicated is com and then this is the one where we go complicated. I think that's it. Complicated. Let's check it. Grab the whole thing. Complicated. Yes. Now complicated, it doesn't require the D to be added to the K, so we just erase it. Boom, like so, and we move this here. Complicated, like so. Okay? The worst thing you can do is to make a simple task unnecessarily complicated, like I just did trying to do the word unnecessarily. All right. Try to be smart, and that's what happens to you. All right, so where is my previous paragraph marker? It was talking about, unless my brain has decided to go for a walk, and I forgot where the paragraph was. But the only thing that Warren Buffett, that's what we're looking for, but the only thing, there it is. And yes, my brain did take a hike. We need to do a paragraph marker right here. So we'll drop that there. And now we continue. So we grab our highlighter. But the only thing that Warren Buffett, and that's a proper noun, so we need to do the 2 lines underneath, that Warren Buffett thinks about is what does he think about? Thinks about it, yeah. It's a funny way to word the sentence. I think that's the German coming through again. So we have thinks about it is the relationship between price and value. He does not even look. Let's fix look a little bit. He does not even look at the price from yesterday. He understands that simple is not the same as easy, and that the worst thing you can do is to make a simple task unnecessarily complicated. And there we go. That's the end of that paragraph, so we move on. This time I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to drop a paragraph marker and highlight it, and now we go ahead and start on our next paragraph. But first a little sip of water. My throat's a little dry today. A stock is a share in a company. That's the first sentence here. So we have a stock is a share in a company. Period. The price is set by the market. The price is set by the market. Market is MR. Yes, is set by the market, comma, which means by supply and demand, which means by supply, and supply is going to be SPL, and then diphthong, supply, by supply. Let's check that. Yep, by supply and demand. And demand. So this is D. Ooh, what is demand? Is it just D-M-A-N? D-M-A-N? Demand? Let's go ahead and check and see if that is the case. And I realize that I've just been doing this whole thing. That is hilarious. So I've been going for an hour, 14 minutes, and I never even checked to see if my source was set correctly. Oh, I am brilliant. Oh, boy. Okay, well, now we're set. Now we're set. Good grief. I just now looked like, hold on, that's not correct. That is not correct at all. Oh, good grief. Okay, well, there goes that. We've just been doing a whole page or so. What is that, an hour? Been going for an hour and a half at least. Okay, well, hey, that's why it's good to go ahead and get this sort of silly stuff done on the streams now when no one's watching, because then, you have that lesson learned, like, now I know, an hour and a half stream, and I just now see that. Oh, good grief. Okay. That'll teach me to not pay attention. So here we go. Let's go ahead and, a stock is a share. Let me go ahead and check share. Yep, that's share. Let's make it just a little bigger, because that would be like sure. So we'll go share. Like that. A stock is a share in a company. The price is set by the market. It means, which means by supply and demand. Okay, and I realized that I'm not doing the read back just yet. So there's demand, comma, which touches on the rationality of market, comma, which touches, and this is TCH, so let's go ahead and check that. Touch. Yep, and there's a slight curve. It's a slight rounded curve on that, so we're going to go which touches, and then add an S to the end, which touches on the rationality, on the rational, and then I think it's rationality, I think is just the L added after it, correct? Rationality. Yes, rationality. Of market participants. Of market participants. Participant is going to be P-A-R, participant. Participant. Participes? It might just be participes. Let's see here. Participes. No, that's not it. Let's look up participant. Okay, so it's just PT. Oh, it's part. It's participle. So it's part punt. There we go. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. So we go here and we do participants, like so, okay? As well as the question of valuation. As well as the question of, and then valuation. So we have value is this, and then shun probably does valuation. So let's check that out. Valuation. And that's it. Beautiful. Valuation. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Valuation. Comma, which means you have to understand, which means you have to understand something about the business you are considering. You have to understand something about the business. Business is, I think it's BSS. So you take an S and you curve it. Business. Oh no, it's just a single S curved down at the base. So you move this down. Let's go ahead and make this page just a little bit bigger. Add another page afterwards. How to take smart notes. T. Oh, come on. HTTS in 12.6 through 7, and this is page number 9. And we jump back up over here, and we need to do business, so we go BS like that. And there is business. Okay, so about the business you are considering investing in. How to understand something about the business you are considering, and cons is this one where we curve back in on itself, considering investing in. Invest. Right? We did investing. Like so. Let's go ahead and check and see if that's correct. Invest. Not invest. Yes. Investing in. All right. Comma. Including competition. Including. So this is including. Is that including, or is including a shortened as? Oh no. Oh. Hey, I'm learning. Hey, look at me. Including. Ah, I finally get it. I finally got it. Yay. Including. Yes. Ha. Nice. So we go including competition, and competition is is it competition? See if that's correct. Competition. Yes, competition. That is it. That is it. Yay, yay, yay. That is it. That is it. Yay, yay, yay. All right. Move this here. Competition. Comma. Competitive advantages. Competitive is going to be... There's competitive. I think it's just going to be compete and then the V, right? Or, I mean, it might be TV if we do competitive, maybe. So we go competitive. Let's see if that's correct. Hey, not so bad. Not so bad at all. Rather lovely, I think. Competitive, so we're going to go come on. Competitive. Advantages. And advantages I know now. Advantages, comma, technological developments, etc. Technological, so we're going to go techno, and then I think logical does that below. Or is it ogic? Ogic. Let's check that out. So we're going to go technological. Okay, I'll be back shortly. All right, there we go. So let's continue now. And technological is the word we were looking for. And it is not there, but if we go, that's technology. So we're going to have to add this word to the lineup. So let me go ahead and add it here. This is technological. Okay. And let's, we need to check out what logical is. Techno and then logical. If you have that as an ending, it's just a K. So it's going to be techn and then, or techno and then col ending for technological. So we'll add that here. We're going to go technological for the ical ending, okay? And that was technological developments. So developments, and that takes care, or etc., etc. And I think that one was just ets was the etc. Etsa. ETS, I think is what I ended up doing, right? ETS. Yeah, etc. Okay, etc. And that's the end of the paragraph. There we go. Let's go ahead and drop a paragraph marker. Boom. And now we go back through and read the sentence. Oh, well, we actually had already read half of it, right? So we did supply and demand. So we had gotten that far. Supply and demand, and then this should be a comma. Here we go. Which touches on the touches on the rationality of market participants, as well as the question of valuation, which means you have to understand something about the business you are considering investing in, including, and that's, no, well, wait, is that indeed? So what's including? Hold on. Was I too smart? Oh no, so yes, that is including, and indeed is in, and then the long D stroke. That's what it was. Okay. Including, I'll continue here, so including competition, competitive, including competition, competitive advantages, technological developments, etc. Okay, making things more complicated. Here we go. Making things more complicated. Making things more, and then scroll down the line. Complicated. So this is oh, I know this one. This is complicated. Then they are, can be a way to avoid. Making things more complicated than they are can be a way to avoid, and this is to avoid, is that avoid? Void, so we have to add that. It's not void, it's void. To avoid the underlying complexity of simple ideas, to avoid the underlying complexity, ooh, complexity. Let's see if it's that. Complexity There we go. It does curve towards the front. It's not curving with regards to the T. So we go complexity of simple ideas. To avoid can be a way to avoid the underlying complexity of simple ideas. Of simple ideas. Period. That is what happened during the financial crisis of 2008. Or this is what happened during, need to check happened. And yep, that's happened. Okay, so it actually just does a pinned ending. H. This is what happened during the financial crisis. We go financial. Financial. This is maybe what would that be? Financial? Maybe? Maybe it's that? No, it's just no need for the L. No need for the L. So we just go financial, like that. The financial crisis of 2008. And crisis is KRS, right? KRSS. Let's check crises or crisis. Crisis. Nope, you have to have the diphthong in there. So you go crisis, like that. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Nope, not quite. Crisis. Crisis. There you go. What a crisis of 2008. Of 2008. Period. No, colon. And then economists. Econ. We just did this yesterday. We did economics. Or no, it was economical. Econ. A-E-K-O-N. And then ist. Let's see if that's correct. If we go con and then ists, an ist ending. Let's see if that is anywhere close to it. Economist. And that was nowhere close to it. So it goes ecm-s. Ecm-s for economist. Ecum est. Sounds like a Latin word. Ecum est. Economists, and then we just turn that back around to do a double S, developed hugely complicated products. Developed hugely, hugely, hugely. Let's see. Sounds like a giant Asian wrestler. Hugely. Huge. There's huge. Yep. And then so you add the L to the backside in order to get hugely. The question is, which direction does it curve? Because I think it has to curve. It curves back towards the beginning of the line of writing. If we go ahead and do that, we go hugely, like that, correct? Hugely, like so. Maybe. Does it curve that way? I think it curves that way, because if you curve it the other way, it does the R, right? Let's take a look at a word like share. Yes, so if it curves away from the beginning of the line of writing, it's an R. If it curves towards the beginning of the line of writing, then it's just an E or an L. So that'd be huge or hugely. And we continue. Developed hugely complicated products. Complicated products. Products. Hi, comma, but didn't take into account, comma, but didn't, and that's did not, didn't take into account, and this, now I know account, it's AKT, take into account the simple fact that price and value are not necessarily the same. That price and value are not necessarily the same, period. There is a reason why Buffett is not only a great investor, there is a reason why Buffett, and that's Buffett, is not only a great investor, is not only a great investor. Let's check out investor, make sure that's correct. Investor. Oh no, that's right. This is the one where we take the R, invest, and we simply add an R under it. Investor. But also a great teacher, comma, but also a great teacher. Teacher. And this is a place where we would have the curve going the opposite direction for teacher. Okay. So there's teacher. But also a great teacher, colon. He not only has a vast knowledge, he not only has, has a vast knowledge, comma, vast knowledge about everything related to business, a vast knowledge about everything related to business, comma, but he can also explain it all in simple terms. He can also explain it all in simple terms. All in simple terms. There we go. And that's the end of that sentence, or the end of the paragraph. So now we go ahead and read back over that. Go ahead and drop a paragraph marker here and color it in so that we're ready to go. Save. And we're going back to making things more complicated is what we're looking for. Previous page, there it is. Let's begin. Making things more complicated than they are can be a way to avoid the underlying complexity of simple ideas. This is what happened during the financial. Oh, during doesn't require a dot. It's already a dot. So we just go dr for during. During's bane. During the financial crisis of 2008, economists developed hugely complicated products, but did not take into account the simple fact that price and value are not necessarily the same. There is a reason why Buffett is not only a great investor, but also a great teacher. He not only has a vast knowledge about everything related to business, he can also explain it all in simple terms. And there we go. So that is the paragraph. Now we move on to the next one, which is sometimes the breakthrough in a scientific process. So zoom down the page and we start. Sometimes the breakthrough in a scientific process. Sometimes the breakthrough is breakthrough. That's breakthrough. We need breakthrough. Breakthrough in a scientific process. In a scientific process is the discovery discovery of a simple principle of simple and that's princip. I think it's just prin, isn't it? If we just do PREN, that's principle. Let's take a look at it. Yes, that's principle. Beautiful. A simple principle behind a seemingly very complicated process. Behind a seemingly very complicated process. Very complicated process. Burger and starboard remind us of the long history. So we go burger, BRGR, burger, and starboard, STARBR. Bird is B. Let's see here. Star. Bird. I think that's it. Starboard. Okay. Burger and starboard remind us of the long history of human attempts. Remind us. Let's go. Remind us of the long history of the long history of human attempts to flight. Of human attempts to fly. To fly. Period. Oh, no, colon. We tried to emulate birds. We tried to emulate, and that's emulate. So what would that be? Emu, isn't emulate, what was emulate? Let's check that out. Emulate. Ah, okay, so it's just M and then a U underneath for emulate. Zoom back down the page. We tried to emulate birds by flapping wing-like apparatuses to emulate birds. I think that's bird, right? You have to do an E in there. Okay, that's starboard. So you don't need to have the R at all. You just do birds. We tried to emulate birds by flapping wing-like apparatuses. Birds by flapping, F-L-A, by flapping wing-like apparatuses, and that's wing, right? Wing, downward tilt, wing-like apparatuses. Apparatus. I think this might be apparatuses would be apparatuses, like that. I think that's probably apparatus, but we'll check. Apparatus. Okay, so we have to do A-P-R-A-T-U and then S turned back in on itself. So something similar. It's not part. It does P-R. Yeah, P-A-P-R-A-T-U, and then it goes back in or back out away from the line. So that's apparatuses. Like wing-like apparatuses with feathers. So we thought we had to be like the birds. Apparatuses with feathers. With and then feathers. So that's feathers. No, that does not look correct. What is feather? Could have knocked me down with a feather. Okay, so it just curves up. Hey, that's pretty neat. Okay, so feathers. There's feathers. With feathers. And all. With feathers and all. Comma. But in the end, it was about not getting distracted. But in the end, it was about not getting what is distract? It's a D-S-T, no, D-S-K-R, right? Distract. No. Oh, no, that's, that it's, That's describe. Distract is DSK. Disjointed. Distra. It uses, it takes advantage of the distra prefix, which reminds me, I need to go ahead and add that to the dictionary to add later. Distra. Distra as a valid form of a prefix. Distracted. By not getting distracted. So let's go ahead and fix that here. And we have distracted, like so. By details. Distracted by details. And discovering that the subtle bending of the wing is the only thing that counts. Distracted by details. And discovering that it was only that, and discovering that the subtle bending of the wing, that the subtle, I think that's subtle, right? Subtle. So we just have a little bit clearer. So we go that the subtle bending and bending. No, that's not bending. Bending has to have the E, I think. Bend. Unbend. So bend. Oh, bend is not even in the. It's not even in the dictionary. Good, I get to add it. Bending. So let's go ahead and add that to the dictionary. Bend. Okay. That the subtle bending of the wing is the only thing that counts. Of the wing. I also need to check wing. Yes, that is wing, and we need to go ahead and move this down here and put the U a little bit further up on the body of the NG, and it was the subtle bending of the wing is the only thing that counts. Is the only thing that counts. That counts. Period. Good. So that takes care of that paragraph. Now let's go ahead and read back over. So we're going to go find the previous paragraph marker, which is here. Sometimes. Right? Sometimes the breakthrough in a scientific process is the discovery of a simple principle behind a seemingly very complicated process. Burger. Let's go ahead and do burger here. I think burger, so it should be burger. There we go. That should be burger. A little bit clearer. Let's check burger. Burger's not in there. What about berg? There's iceberg. Hey, okay. Berg. Yeah, that makes sense. So what we need to do is we need to modify this slightly. There and burger. So there's his name. And I need to add burger because I'm hungry. So I'm going to add burger to the dictionary. Here's yummy cheeseburger. Here's yummy cheeseburger. He'll wait for you. Oh, he'll wait for you. Oh. All right, so it was burger and starboard, and starboard we found out was that was STAR and then BED for starboard. Okay, starboard reminded us. Remind us. Remind. We don't need reminded, so we go remind us um of the long, remind us of the long history of human attempts to fly. We tried to emulate birds by flapping wing-like apparatuses with feathers and all, but not the but hmm, but in the end it was what did I just change? I just changed something. What was that? I don't know. My hand just brushed the undo button. Oh, okay, we'll leave it. But it was about not getting distracted by details and discovering that the subtle bending of the wing is the only thing that counts. And counts is it? Let me check count. Yep, that's count. Very nice. Is the only thing that counts. And yep, that's the end of the paragraph. So we'll drop another paragraph marker here and highlight it and move down the line and start all over again. Simple ideas can be tied together into consistent theories. So it goes simple ideas can be tied. Let's see here. Can be tied. Can be tied together into consistent theories. Into and then what is consistent? It's consistent? Is that consistent? Nope. Consistent. Where's consistent? Okay, so it's consist for consist, and then you just add an nt after that. So you go consistent theories. Theories. Very good. And build. So see, simple ideas can be tied together into consistent theories and build up enormous complexity. There we go. And build up enormous complexity. Enormous. So enormous. Let's see if that's correct. Enormous. Animal. No need for the R. So we just go enorm. Enormous. And no need for the S at the end either. Enorm. And build up enormous complexity. And complexity is complexity. There we go. Period. This just doesn't work this just doesn't work with complicated ideas. Oh, that's so fascinating. This just doesn't work with complicated ideas. This just doesn't work with complicated ideas. Period. By using the slip box on a regular basis, there's our good friend again, by using the slip box on a regular basis. Let's go ahead and check basis. Got all your bases covered? Don't want them getting arrested for indecent exposure. Alright, so we have on a regular basis, comma, we train these important intellectual skills deliberately. Comma, we train these intellectual, these important intellectual, intellectual is it, you add the L to the actual, intellectual, oh, okay, they're the same. Oh, is that another one? Do I have intella? I have inter, and then it's also intella, int. Huh, interesting. All right, so intellectual does not require the extra L, so we can go ahead and get rid of it. We train these important intellectual skills, S-K-L-S, deliberately. And we go deliberately. Just add an E to the end, and I'm not going to even check that because I know that's deliberate. Used it enough. Period. We check if what we understood, so we go, we check, hold on. We check if what we understood, STU, we check if what we understood from a text is really from a text is really in the text. In the text. By having our understanding, by having our understanding in written form in front of our eyes. In written form in front, zoom down, in front of our eyes. And eyes, I think, curves this way. I believe it curves away from the beginning of the line of writing, correct? Yes, our eyes. Period. We learn to focus on the gist of an idea. We learn to focus on the gist of an idea by restricting ourselves in terms of space, by restricting. So this is going to be REST by isn't restrict. Is restrict a brief form? Let me check. It is a brief form. I thought it was RS and then K underneath. So we go restrict. By restricting, there we go, ourselves in terms of space. Ourselves in terms of space. Space. Portal 2 reference. In terms of space. We can make it a habit. We can make it a habit to always think about what is missing. We can make it a habit to always think about what is missing when we write down our own ideas. When we write down our own ideas. There we go. And we can practice asking good questions. And we can practice asking good questions when we sort our notes into the slip box. When we sort our notes into the slip box and connect them with other notes. And connect them, so we need to add another page below this. Control D. How to take smart notes, page 12. Point 6 through 7. And this is page number 10. Okay. And how to connect them with other notes, and how to connect them with other notes. Okay? That's the end of that paragraph. So now let's go ahead and read through, starting at our paragraph marker, which is simple ideas is what we're looking for. And it's right here, so let's go. Simple ideas can be tied together into consistent theories and built up what is this? It's AP on I can't remember. And build up enormous. There we go. And build up enormous complexity. This just doesn't work with complicated ideas. But using the slip box, or by using the slip box, on a regular basis, we train these important intellectual skills deliberately. We check if, let me check is just C-H-E-C-K. Yeah, that's it. We check if what we understood from a text is really in the text by having our understanding in written form in front of our eyes. We learn to focus on the gist of an idea by by retracting, no, by restricting, by restricting ourselves in terms of space. We can make it a habit to always think about what is missing when we write down our own ideas. And we can practice asking good questions when we sort our notes into the slipbox and connect them with other notes. Good. All right, so now we're going to begin section 12.7, facilitate creativity through restrictions. So we drop another paragraph marker here, color it green, and then we give 12.7, 12.7, and the title for this is Facilitate Creativity Through Restrictions. And facilitate is we go no, the L goes on the inside, I think, right? Facilitate. I can't remember now. I cannot remember. So let's go ahead and check it. Facilitate. Yes, the E goes on the inside of the curve. So we'll go ahead and fix that here. We go facilitate. There we go. Facilitate creativity. Creativity through restrictions. Through, and then we just did restrictions, which is RSK restrictions. New paragraph marker, highlight it, and we start. The slip box imposes quite a few restrictions on its user. And those are good things. It's like being an artist. The slip box imposes quite a few restrictions on its user. Imposes. Let's see if that's correct. Impose. Yep, there's impose. Okay, so there's impo, and then imposes, or is just an S added to it. So we go imposes quite a few restrictions. Quite a few restrictions on its user. On its user. Let's see if user is just use and then an ending, right? Oh, that's mouser, trousers. User is not in the dictionary. Well, we're definitely going to add that one because that has a lot of importance, just like in computer work and all sorts of stuff. So let's go ahead and add user. And user is just the brief form for use, and then you add an R ending after that. So we'll go ahead and clean that up here, and we go user, like so. All right, period. Instead of having the choice between all kinds of fancy notebooks, instead of having the choice, and that's choice, between all kinds of fancy notebooks, between all kinds of fancy notebooks, fancy note up here. This is going to be note books, comma, papers or writing formats, papers or writing formats, writing formats. Yeah, come on. There we go. Come on. Formats, comma, or being able to employ, or being able, and I think that was just being able. Yeah, being able. No, we need to keep this one separate because this is being able to employ the whole range, to employ the whole range. Is that just RG for range? Nope, that's it. The whole range. Okay, employ the whole range of productivity tools, productivity, right? Yep, that's exactly what it is. Productivity. Yeah, tools. Available for note-taking. Available for note-taking. Available for note-taking. Oh. Comma. Learning and academic. Learning and academic or nonfiction writing. We go nonfiction writing. Comma. Everything is reduced to a single plain text format. Everything is reduced. Everything is reduced to a plain text format. To a plain, hyphenated, text format. and collected in a single simple slipbox system. And collected in a single, comma, simple slipbox system. Single, simple slipbox system. With no frills or features. With no frills or features. And features is features. Good. And that's that paragraph. Oy. Okay, features. Oy. Let's go drop a paragraph marker here for our next one, and hyphen. And now we start. So go ahead and grab it here. The slipbox imposes quite a few restrictions on its user. Instead of having the choice between all kinds of fancy notebooks, papers or writing formats, or being able to employ. Is that employ? Let me check. Employ. Yep, that's employ. To employ the whole range of what is that? Productivity tools available for, that's for, that it needs to be for, not P, for note-taking, learning, so this should be learning and academic or nonfiction writing. Everything is reduced to plain text format and collected in a single simple slipbox system with no frills or features. All right. Very nice, very nice. Oi, 3 minutes left, so let's just we'll add as much as we can of the next one. Even though digital programs lift the physical restrictions on the length of a note, so here he's talking about still keep it brief. Even though digital programs, right? Isn't that program? Nope, it's PR and then G. PRG. Programs, even though digital programs lift the restriction, so we go lift the restrictions on the length of a note, on the length. What is length? Is it just length? Oh yeah, it is. It's just len. So just the downward tilt. So we go length of note, comma. I highly recommend treating I highly recommend, let's put recommend on the line below. I highly recommend treating a digital note, treating a digital note as if the space were limited. As if the space were limited, period. By restricting ourselves to one format, by restricting ourselves to one format, comma, we also restrict ourselves. We also restrict ourselves to just one idea per note. To just one idea per note. That's such a good thing. To just one idea per note. All right, and with that, that's a 3-hour session. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little break, and then I'll do another one. I don't know if I'll be able to do all 9 hours today, but at least 6 hours, which would be beautiful. Like I said, had a kind of a later start to this morning, but it was all good. Just had some work to do this morning. And with that, hope everyone's having a wonderful day, and getting out there and doing the work that needs to be done to, just to fulfill your task here on this earth. God gives you only a short period of time, and it's important to make the best use of the time. It's funny. That's what Jesus says, right? Even, the Son of God, that's what he says. He says, make the best use of the day, or was it, what's the exact quote? It's going to drive me crazy because I know the, for the days are evil. What is the first part? For the days are evil. Here we go. Because the days are evil. That's Ephesians 5:16. Be wise. There it is. So it was actually Paul. It was be as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. That's what it is. Be wise. Be wise. Be wise. Apostle Paul, New Testament, Ephesians 5:16. Ephesians 5:16, the King James Version or ESV is making the best use of the time because the days are evil. And that is a verse to live by. That is a verse to live by. Making the best use of the time because the days are evil. So that's the hope indeed. And like I said, I will be back shortly, probably about 40 minutes or so, to do my next set. Thank you so much for joining in. This was a pretty good session. I was only able to get three pages copied, but hey, that's something. And as you'll see, if you ever stream back through, or if you ever go back through and look at the beginning of the stream, this little numpty over here had failed to update his presentation, and so I'm over here happily talking away and writing on my view because I can see it. But for you guys, for the first hour and a half, it's completely just blank screen. So you just hear me giving commentary, and you have to take my word for it that I actually was doing any work. So anyway, with that, thanks everybody, and I will be back in just a little bit. So take care. Bye-bye.